citizens, welcome back to Mo's World. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing good, in case you're wondering. And I also did my hair today. See, you guys like it? And also, I just started this new manga that my friend recommended called Soul Eater. Oh yeah, and also the Rick Levine astrological report for October, which is super interesting. So definitely go check those things out if you're interested. And without further ado, let's get into the madness. We're going to talk about 5 different topics, and those include 1. Clarifying what took place in MOSWORLD5 Explained Part 1. Just a few things I wanted to touch on to clarify. 2. Physics and the Doppler effect. 3. Sacred sonar. 4. Music theory. And 5. Intention and meditation, and how those all correlate. I also wanted to touch on the amount of stutters that were in the last video. Real talk, that's life, but I do respect myself and you guys, so there will be no more of that. And with that being said, and since we have it as an example, imagine how many times we stutter upon making the right decision, you know? So let's have some grace, and the clarity that you receive when you stumble or stutter helps you to proceed humbly. So back into the Seligman dog experiment. I talked about this because it references learned helplessness. This study was to give an objective example about people choosing to simply not save themselves. Hence why I felt like I should touch on it again briefly. Pertaining to the dog experiment and the conscious decision and desire to quit addictions. After reviewing the video, I felt like I should clarify saying, we have all the tools we need to overcome each circumstance. What I meant by that statement is to say, as humans with both a conscious and subconscious mind, my words were an attempt to affirm that if someone within their heart and mind decides that they want help, not to mention being a divine being of golden consciousness simply by existing, consider that thought as serious as a step in the right direction to creating real positive change in one's life. Though honoring this choice is completely up to each person individually, know that true change comes from within. My mention of this is to empower listeners that have initiated this shift in paradigm, simply by creating the thought that they have a desire for change, leading a person to create positive changes in their life by desiring to end the cycles of partaking in certain learned routines. I've witnessed that true change in a person does take an honest, conscious choice to walk a new certain path. The philosophy of all change beginning in the mind does prove to be correct with my research and from personal life experience that I feel that most people can relate to. From my research, from highly accredited medical institutions such as Johns Hopkins University and others mentioned on my website under the Works Cited page, studies prove that psilocybin and mushrooms with psychedelic properties serve to be influential to helping progress and even catalyze change in one's mindset, along with treating previously mentioned mental health conditions and circumstances. Essentially by restructuring the chemistry in your brain, decluttering it, and in its place adding clarity. The clarity is added to where roadblocks surface in your train of thought, ultimately helping you to realize where you can be more productive and focused in life. Despite nationally recognized institutions becoming privy to this substance being sacred more recently, indigenous peoples have used psilocybin as well as other natural substances as a means for psycho-reactivation and restoration for generations. Phi is quite literally the golden ratio. Phi is what both mathematically and scientifically proves divine existence. This is done via the undeniable pattern that is found throughout all of nature, known as the Fibonacci sequence. This divine sequence and ratio is found throughout all of nature, including in our anatomical human design. The Doppler effect in physics is known for measuring the sound of the ambulances as they're traveling towards and away from a listener. The Doppler effect is known because it creates a sonar-like spiral of high-pitched and low-pitched tones as it's passing through. A sonar is the measurement of water reflected, measuring water depths by emitting sound pulses, and detecting and measuring their return after being reflected. Humans being composed of 60% plus of water, have been taught to know that the sound of the ambulance is a symbol for medical rescue. After becoming privy to remember that the Doppler is in fact in a spiral, and remembering that the sonar is one of medical rescue, I began to wonder if this sonar correlates to how we process sound in other ways, like listening to music. Soon after this thought surfaced, I was sitting on my patio, and I kept noticing that there was spider webs in the shape of spirals literally all around me. And in thinking a little deeper, I remembered too that my curls take on this exact same shape. And now that I was especially invested, I began to channel that the golden ratio was just giving us a bird's eye view, logically explaining the reason and circumstance of why all of these natural occurring patterns are linked to one thing, resulting in something divine. On MOSWORLD5.com, you'll also see movie reference points to help people bridge the overarching meaning that I've displayed on the website, enabling citizens to witness these sequential patternings in an alternative medium. I reference Harry Potter because it is one of the most popular stories about the Chosen One in popular culture. There's a brilliant reference to spires representing higher knowledge when they're literally attempting to unlock the, quote, Chamber of Secrets in Harry Potter, which is totally unironic. In reality, a spider's web is a perfect example of the golden ratio, which is a direct representation of higher knowledge amongst the collective. In Islam, the spider's web is what hid and essentially saved the Prophet Muhammad. According to the story of Muhammad being saved by the spider, he was hiding in a cave when miraculously an acacia tree sprang up and the spider was able to weave its web, hiding him from his enemies that were lurking close behind him. This is one of the most genuine signs that natural design aids us and protects us in our favor. Not many people would think an ordinary spider web would protect someone from such a fatal fate. Yet, even in this video, there are 3 examples. A central doctrine to the religion of Islam is that science and religion are inseparable. The human journey of discovering these links is called ijtihad. Is independent reasoning and individual philosophy, which sounds to me like putting action into creating your own reality for a divine purpose. There's an essence of true belief in an even greater purpose and universal system, validating their covenant that one has with the Creator, Allah, thus leading a lifestyle of harmony and ethics. But now getting back to music theory. The golden ratio pattern mathematically and visually proves that creation and nature essentially build on itself. The sum of the following number in the golden ratio or Fibonacci sequence is simply the sum of the 2 previous numbers added together. Our whole bodies are the symphony of the golden ratio. This ratio also can be seen in the rhythm of our heartbeats. As the sound waves of this video pass through your ears, the waves are entering in a perfect golden spiral like that of the Doppler effect that I mentioned earlier. Scientists have also discovered that the golden ratio is essential for the human brain, the neurosystem, our sensory organs, and our lung system. Even the shape of our DNA helixes depicts the shape of the golden ratio spiral. The golden ratio is also found within biblical text, including the noted dimensions of Noah's Ark, and Noah also happens to be the grandson of Enoch. The pyramids of Giza follow the pattern's sequential precision. Leonardo da Vinci's painting of Mona Lisa and many other famous and non-famous artworks are designed with this golden ratio and pattern. In modern research, we've also found that music can be read just like time on an analog clock, now having its own spiral and depiction of the golden ratio as well. So with that, plus learning how sound waves travel through our ears, fundamentally understanding the golden ratio really ties the concept of reoccurring sequence, sound waves, and harmony together for me, resulting in spirituality meeting science. Music has been so healing to humans already. Music can trigger an array of emotions based on the genre and the time that the music or song reminds you of. With trailblazing research about music therapy, it's no surprise that this sonic illusion is, so to say, entrancing us into a state of harmony. Ultimately, sound waves travel into our ears and consciousness in the same way that an illusion would visually to some degree. For better or worse, the motion of the golden ratio spiral also serves to show that harmony is the antidote to static. I'm also channeling that this is nature's analogy to lefty-loosey and righty-tighty. In a sense, essentially loosening up the tightly wound pattern of discord and replacing it with a more harmonious tune or shape. Essentially, the golden ratio comes to play within our DNA in terms of fighting against diseases and restructuring the coding of our DNA helixes. This is why CRISPR's strategy of recoding our DNA and replacing it with one that is healthier is so innovative. The remedy to what causes pain is to replace it with an energy that is of a higher vibration, i.e. joy, something that brings you a greater amount of joy or equal to what was causing your pain. These realizations are grounded in science and spirituality, which feels like it affirms the saying, "When two or more are gathered in my name, there I am with them." Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. Not to say that the Creator isn't present when we aren't conscious of this unity, but with belief, the divine presence is stronger. Even in the golden ratio, the Creator serves as superior by representing the zero position, but this symbolically represents being both everything and nothing, as well as being everywhere but nowhere, since nothing would essentially exist without zero being the first leading number in the entire Fibonacci sequence. Humans have a common denominator of having one creator, i.e. the creator of golden consciousness. The creator of the golden ratio of our existence also follows the pattern of from nothing comes something, highlighting that the thought of positive change could be nothing to one human, but the start of an entire paradigm shift in another, completely based on what their individual beliefs are. We might all want to acknowledge our desire to create, for better or worse, trying our best to be mindful of what we feed our energy into developing. This goes for daily habits on a minor scale, such as brushing your teeth daily, or alternatively having a negative habit of saying negative comments to yourself after you make a mistake throughout the day. These are both minor and major examples of how to initiate a more divine lifestyle, helping you to focus on what you do in your day-to-day habits and helping you to create a more divine and healthy lifestyle. So citizens, from my world to your world, if you're ever feeling lost in your course on this universe, know that your existence alone connects you to something way bigger and more complexly beautiful than anything you feel is creating static between you and your aspirations of divinity. Aspirations can represent feeling at home with yourself or simply succeeding at something that you set out to complete, and essentially all other things that pertain to your peace, harmony, and happiness. And for those who are struggling to have faith with the amount of change that they can create in their life, please remember to pray for divine alignment and guidance through anything that you feel is causing you strife or static. Energy is contagious just like a disease, so be careful and protect your crown and all other chakras with positive love light radiating around you like an aura of beauty, zeroing in your energy and focus on positive realities and outcomes. Clearly it helped Muhammad, and obviously it helped me. So on that note, peace be with you, citizens.